right, happy Thursday, everybody. Okay, so now that you have brainstormed and chosen your worst out story that you would like to write about in your personal narrative, remember, personal means it is special to your life. You've experienced it. It was your event in your life. And narrative means, well, we're going to tell a story about it. We're gonna tell our classmates or the teacher a story, the true story about how I got that ouch. Okay, so this is an example. This is, again, I made a copy of what you're gonna get. You're gonna get 2 slides. On the second slide, it's an example. Okay, it would be like if I had an anchor chart, if I wrote on the paper. So this one, it says, first, it was a spring day. I was 11 years old. I was playing first base in a baseball game. I watched the batter hit the ball and I tried to catch it. So this first paragraph, we're gonna start really easy, and we're just gonna simply describe the day, describe what you were doing before you got hurt. So it's like the first part of your day, okay? Don't try to detail it too much. This is just the beginning. Remember, this is our sloppy copy. It's our first draft. We're kind of still brainstorming, okay? So it doesn't have to be super perfect. Then we're gonna go into our second paragraph. The words first and next are already going to be on your paper for you or your slide for you, so you don't have to type those. So next, the ball smacked me right in the stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up. I had to get the ball to make the out, so I found it. I did it. My stomach had a big red mark on it in the shape of a baseball. So this one seems to describe what you were doing in the day of when you got the injury. This next one is the injury or the event causing the ouch to happen. Okay, and they describe a little bit about the injury. So my stomach had a big red mark on it. So maybe talk about what it did. Did it leave a mark? Did you get a bruise? Was there blood? Was there not blood? So again, don't go into too much detail. If you notice these are really short, you don't need to go into too much detail. We will hash that out, or we'll get that out later. I just want you to really set up, okay, this is the day and this is what I was doing before I got injured, and then here's where the injury happened. This was the moment it happened and what happened right then in that moment that I was injured. So this is my copy. So you're gonna get a copy. You have to type in your name on this one. You don't have to type your number, but I typed my number. Okay, again, first and next are already there. You don't have to do the date. It says type here. May not follow the lines, that is okay. So when I make a text box, if you look, if I click it, the text box is this whole thing. It's not gonna follow the lines, guys, and that's okay. Just type out the best you can. Again, you're gonna highlight this, scroll, 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 and you're gonna delete it. Okay, so I chose to write about when I broke my toe. Okay, first, it was a hot summer day in the Acrobat studio. So I'm telling them what kind of day it was and where I was at. I'm gonna kind of tell my age. I believe I was about 12 years old. I was 12. When you are doing a formal paper, or when you're typing up a story, and a teacher's gonna read it, or like, let's say a professor if you're in college, or if you're gonna go to a job, you don't write numbers as a number, you write them as a word. So have your parents help you with that. So I was 12 years old. Okay, I was 12 years old at the time. Okay, I see how it's not following the lines. That's okay. I was one of the youngest gymnasts. Sorry, it's kind of hard to type and do this all at the same time. Gymnasts in the acrobatic performance. Okay. I was, let's see, completing the routine wonderfully so far hit every pose and trick my coach instructed me to do. Okay, so again, I'm not hashing it out, I'm just kind of giving a background on the day that I got hurt. So it was a hot summer day in the acrobat studio. So I kind of this was the day, it was in the summer. I kind of told where I was. I was 12 years old at the time. I told my age. I was one of the youngest gymnasts in the acrobatic performance. I was completing the routine wonderfully so far as I hit every pose and trick my coach instructed me to do. Okay, so this is a little bit of background before I got hurt. The next part now, again, it's not gonna follow lines, you're gonna highlight, erase. Next, I went into an acrobatic trick called a what was it? It was a back handspring. So it's like flipping backwards with your hand. Your hands are still on the mat. Called a back handspring to your tummy. I felt as if I was doing it perfectly. My hands were on the mat. My belly was on the mat, but my feet had a different idea. Again, see how it's not following line? That's okay. Smack. I'm gonna use a sound word. Smack. My toes landed in the studio waiting room floor, which was concrete with no padding. I felt as if my big toe was on fire. Okay, so here's my next. So this is when the actual injury happened. So next, I went into an acrobatic trick called a back handspring to your tummy. I felt as if I was doing it perfectly. My hands were on the mat, my belly was on the mat, but my feet had a different idea. Smack! My toes landed on the studio waiting room floor, which was concrete with no padding. I felt as if my big toe was on fire. Okay, so this is a little bit of background information on the day of the injury and what I was doing. And then this is when it happened. So I want you guys to go ahead, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna follow the lines. I want you to go ahead and try your best shot at this.